Sometimes, the hardest truths in baseball are the ones that challenge your expertise. There's nothing more humbling than reviewing your own predictions and realizing just how badly you misjudged a player. Every year, I force myself to revisit the prospects whose careers completely outpaced my expectations. Why? Because accountability matters. Our mistakes are not just setbacks. They are learning opportunities that help us become better evaluators and, ironically, often lead to the most interesting conversations. But here's where it gets controversial. If you're willing to admit you were wrong, you open the door to real progress about not only prospects, but the very art of scouting itself. Think about it. How many times have we all dismissed a future star due to a quirk in their mechanics or an underwhelming stat? And yet, baseball is full of late bloomers and defiant outliers who refuse to fit the mold. So let's take a closer look at 3 major league success stories where my projections fell flat. Not only are these examples educational, but some might even spark debate. Was it flawed scouting, bad luck, or did these players simply defy logic? Joe Ryan, RHP, Minnesota Twins. Have you ever made a simple assumption that turned into a big mistake? That's exactly what happened to me with Joe Ryan. For years, I'd been warned about pitchers whose fastballs supposedly had a mysterious quality, what people in baseball sometimes call an invisiball. These are fastballs that hitters claim are uniquely difficult to see or connect with. However, after enough so-called invisiballers failed to make an impact, I grew skeptical, maybe too skeptical, and this is the part most people miss. Joe Ryan actually does have that rare invisiball. As a prospect, the best I ever ranked him was just outside my top 100, labeling his fastball as average, and seeing his success as mostly deception and a strong changeup. I underestimated his fastball. It's now clear his four-seamer is far more effective than I gave it credit for. Statistically, his fastball has added at least 14 runs above average in each of his 4 full MLB seasons. That's elite. Batters struggle to make contact. His strikeout and whiff rates exceed the league median, and he holds opponents to a lower-than-average expected WOBA. Why the disconnect? Ryan's fastball works not because of off-the-charts velocity or movement, but because every little ingredient adds up. He throws from a lower slot, which causes hitters to misjudge both the vertical rise and the tailing action. This, combined with league-high extension, something the Twins helped improve once he arrived in Minnesota, makes ordinary velocity play like something much more. One scout flat-out told me I was wrong about Ryan, that his fastball would thrive in the big leagues. But my previous disappointments made me ignore those signs. It's a reminder. Sometimes our skepticism does us a disservice. So here's a question for you. Should we put more stock in unconventional traits even if they seem suspicious? Or is skepticism justified? Let's debate in the comments. Mike Yastrzemski, outfielder. Kansas City Royals. If you think every future star commands respect from an early age, Mike Yastrzemski proves otherwise. Honestly, I watched him as a high schooler and wasn't impressed. His famous last name seemed like his main asset. He went undrafted, headed to Vanderbilt, and 3 years later, still hadn't convinced many people. His college stats were good, not great, and when the Orioles drafted him late, almost no one thought they'd grabbed a hidden gem. Here's where it gets interesting. Yastrzemski's progress was painfully slow. He struggled for years in AA and AAA and moved through Baltimore's organization with little fanfare. Even the Orioles themselves appeared to give up on him, never inviting him to big league camp until a new leadership regime arrived. When his chance finally came, it was in the form of a trade to San Francisco, a deal that, at the time, barely registered. What happened next? In AAA with the Giants, he absolutely raked, and then never looked back. Since his MLB debut, Yastrzemski has racked up over 16 wins above replacement, swatted 121 home runs, and maintained an impressive plate discipline, a 10.4% walk rate for his career. I never saw this coming, and I seriously doubt many scouts did either. The biggest twist? Yastrzemski didn't debut until he was 28, proving that not everyone has to fit the usual prospect timeline. His deeper baseball IQ, excellent sense of the strike zone, superb base-running instincts, gave his other skills time to blossom. I'll admit, I repeatedly dismissed him for being older than his competition. I thought his window had closed. How wrong I was. So let's stir the pot. Is age really just a number for MLB prospects, or is late blooming the rare exception? Chime in with your thoughts. Hunter Brown, RHP, Houston Astros. Some players you feel optimistic about, but still end up surprised by how far they climb. Take Hunter Brown, an electric arm from Division II Wayne State with eye-catching velocity and a strong slider. I always rated him highly, suggesting he could become a reliable mid-rotation starter if he learned more control and developed a third pitch. Yet even my fairly generous projections failed to anticipate his sharp leap into ace territory. Here's the wrinkle. Brown, like many young flamethrowers, struggled with control early on, walking over 11% of batters in his first full pro season. Reports suggested his delivery might hold him back. Fast forward to today, and his walk rate has dropped to under 8%, a career best at any level. Part of this transformation? Brown credits lots of repetitions and some subtle adjustments, like shifting his position on the rubber and improving his physical conditioning. The Astros also encouraged him to work in a true curveball. Now, in just his third major league season, Brown has delivered a dazzling 5.8 BWAR campaign. His advanced stats back it up too. He's among the league leaders in both WAR and in strand rate. This year, he hasn't just looked like a reliable arm. He's pitched like a staff ace. But here's a twist to consider. Are we underestimating pitchers from small schools and less traditional pipelines? Where do you stand? Does great stuff always win out? Or is it development, opportunity, and organizational fit that make the real difference? Let's keep the conversation going. Which prospects did you misjudge? Do you think evaluators should take more risks on outliers and late bloomers? Share your thoughts below and don't hold back. Sometimes the most controversial takes lead to the best insights.